the conversation around women's health changed, or maybe not changed throughout the years and what you all have seen, and potentially how has the quality of life for women been impacted?
No, you go first.
Hello, everyone. Over my lifetime, and I'm 60 years old, I have seen an expansion of women's rights. I've seen an expansion of including women in health studies. We, of course, have fought tremendously for a lot of these things in our lifetimes. There are much better policies around domestic violence, around sexual assault, and reproductive health care. One of the things that I would like to talk about today is how over your lifetime, if you rear children in the beginning of your adulthood, and then you move into your middle age, and then you begin to have to care for your parents, your aging parents. And so there's not a lot of time for you. And I would just really like to emphasize to everyone, please think about yourselves. If you're young, take care of yourself. Start before that first arthritic twinge hits you. Take the time to take a deep breath, go on a walk, eat better, have some me time. It is going to be so important to you later on down the road. Our lives are so stressful from the very beginning in everything that we deal with because we're the caretakers of everyone. And our families depend on us and society depends on us. And we often forget about ourselves. And I've really come to realize how important that is, that take care of yourselves. And, I do this work, I advocate up here at the Capitol, I try to change policy, change legislation. But, people that I work with remind me constantly, take a breath, go to sleep, it's midnight, stop, turn off your computer, go to bed. Are you eating? Have you drank water today? All of these things are important. And we really must remember that, even though it may not seem like it when you're in your 20s, you feel great, you have all this energy, but by the time you're 60, trust me, a lot of that's gone. And another thing I would also like to mention, there are a lot of grandparents raising grandchildren in this state, over 50,000 of us, including myself. Sorry. We need support at every stage of life. We need support. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Carrie Monks, and to add to such a great answer, how it's changed for me, I would say that the talk has changed from back in the days with my grandmother. She had 7 kids, and I talked to 2 young wise ladies this morning, and they told me how she had over 6 kids or 7 kids. Her friend's grandmother has like over 17 kids, and here I am thanking God for my 3 children that I was able to bear out of those traumatic experiences. And the talk from back in the days, I would love for us to get back to that day instead of women and especially me, like fearing pregnancy. We fear pregnancy so much, and people are just like not having their, not being able to have that joy of how the women back in the days used to be able to talk about it. But we have all these statistics that are just bogging down, and stressors that are constantly reminding us of all of these terrible maternal outcomes that we've been experiencing, especially Black women. It's just a crisis against us as it relates to maternal health. And I want that talk to get back to that happy time of how women are just happy about being pregnant instead of being afraid to wonder, if I have this baby, will I live, and vice versa. So I just want our talks to get back to let's have, these babies. I love the conversation that we had earlier, and that just tied into this question to me. So I hope that resonates.
Again, as I think about the question, has the conversation changed historically? For me, the youthful nature in me, the impatient nature wants to say, no, it hasn't. I think that we're in a vicious cycle where we keep having the same conversations. And I think for a lot of times, it's largely due to the disconnect of not having intergenerational conversations, that the battles that we keep seeing, whether it be on race relations, whether it be on economic justice, whether it be on maternal health, these are conversations that have been had before, and we have yet to really resolve them because there is a larger injustice of, our societal issues that we don't want to change. It's not just about who we are electing, it's about the systems that don't want to change because they benefit from them. So for me personally, in a less pessimistic stance, I will say that I think it has changed, right? I think that the youthfulness in me thinks that change needs to happen right now because I wanted to, but the larger, more seasoned activist in me knows that change doesn't just happen overnight. That change happens when we all collectively work together, when we come to the ballot box, when we come to the legislature to advocate in front of our legislators. And that change is not something that just happens because we want it to. It happens because of our prayers for it to. It happens because of our actions that follow those prayers, because faith without work is dead. But in the sense that I am being more hopeful about the system is I think about my great-great-grandmother who had lupus, and she was handicapped, and she couldn't walk from the age of 40 on because they didn't diagnose it as lupus. That was healthcare injustice in the sense that they didn't treat her as adequately as they could have because of the times that they were in. I think of my grandmother who now has lupus but can still walk, who can still go to work, who still lives her life, but still suffers because of the medical advancements that aren't given to Black women at the same rate as white women, which is just the truth. I think about my mother now who suffers from lupus, and I can directly see the impacts that lupus has on a 40-year-old woman, and that could be my future as I see that it happened 3 generations before. So when we talk about young people being engaged in the healthcare decisions, it doesn't just happen because of the prices that I see my mom having to pay for medicine that costs $3,000 a month for lupus medicine. I've seen her hospitalized in near death in 2016, and then in 2019, right before the pandemic came, and how it is exasperated by this pandemic. So I think about the context of how medical advancements have changed, but I don't think the hearts of men who legislate have. So for me, I think about it from a personal context, and we have changed minimally, but I hope and I pray that in my generation, they're going to feel me. So I just say that to say that I think we are incrementally seeing change. But again, I think it takes women like you who are making these conversations, who are making these national days, because the Office of Women's Health on a national level wasn't even established until 1991. Here we are in Louisiana, and it's 2022, still trying to establish an Office of Women's Health. And that's because we have to change the heart of legislators. That is the work that we have to do. That is the burden that we are called to do. And not just for my great-grandmother, but for my mother today who still faces these issues and could very well be my own future. So I think about it from the context of not just the people who have been impacted, but my future children that I have yet to have. And the median age for women to have children now is 30, and it's looking real 40 for me. So I pray that we can be more impactful on this work and not just pray about it, but put some real action behind it.
You really need to make a little field trip up here. You think we can't walk, but it's about this much space. It's quite interesting, quite interesting. I would answer that question, has the question changed? I think lives have changed. We're not who we thought we were going to be. Life has just taken so many different twists and turns and that we weren't expecting, that we'd never seen before. We know so much more now. It's just astounding what we've started to understand, what people have studied and now can share with us. We can be so much more deliberate and so much more effective and so much more attentive now because of people who have worked on the behalf of others. So I can say that not just have times changed for me, but my whole life focus has changed. And I could not be more committed and dedicated to what I'm doing had I not had people like yourselves, wonderful family, who raised me to believe in myself, to know that all that I have is not just for me, but it's to put in service of others and care of others. And what I find now with the women the families with which I work in Scotlandville, Louisiana, we have a program that assists women, mothers, in their own personal development, and then partners with them in the full development of their children. We want to break that cycle of poverty with this generation. But I'm sad to say that many of these women don't feel empowered even to go to the doctor for their physical exam. Why do I need to do that? Okay? Well, if you don't feel the need, your children need for you too. They need your good health. So we have lots of work to do, not just in making sure opportunities are there, but making sure people have the understanding, the transportation, the encouragement to take care of themselves. And until we each partner and find ways, and it doesn't have to be, somebody in a totally different neighborhood. It can be your next door neighbor. We have to continue empowering one another to be fully whole, to be fully healthy, and to enjoy the goodness of life. There's so many things that wear us down now. I'm struck at how often we use the word fight. I got to go back and fight for this. We're going to wear ourselves out fighting. I think we have to kind of shift that language and shift our behavior of thinking that we don't have to fight. We've just got to go find somebody and get together and get this done. So I think fighting is maybe too present in our community, and now it needs to be reaching out and helping.
I think I can ask this from here because it'll be answered, but we've heard a lot about maternal health, and that's certainly been a theme that we know is obviously very important, and there are a lot of disparities in maternal health, not just for women in the South, but between women of color and white women and black women. What topics outside of maternal health do you think are pressing issues for women that need to be addressed outside the maternal health aspect?
We're going to need everybody to come to the mic because speaking it clear, it won't be recorded very well. Go for it.
As I think about the other pressing issues outside of maternal health, which I think is a very large problem because that's where, life starts. I think about the central problem that crosses every sector, whether it be health inequities, whether it be wage, whether it be housing. I think that it's poverty. I think poverty is the most centralized problem that we have yet to address. I think that poverty is a manufactured issue that we can legislate away. There are dollars that we spend outside of this country every single day. There are dollars that we spend inside of this country every single day that communities that I grew up from will never see, but they still pay into the same tax system that does not benefit them. For me, I think that if we started with poverty, that a lot of these issues, whether it be education, all of these things are rooted in something like poverty. So I think it starts with the minimum wage conversation. I think it starts with paying women equally. I think it starts with saying that women have been the savior for this country for far too long. And I think it's time we have a conversation about what does equity look like for them. Because the thing is, I think we always have this conversation about just having access. I no longer want to just be in the room. I want my voice to be valued equally at that table, and not even just equally because I might be more, versed on the subject matter than some of my counterparts who don't look like me. So for me, I think when we talk about questions and conversations that we need to be having as equally as maternal health, which should always be prioritized, is that we need to say that we need to value the women that are in these positions, that we need to continue to elevate them, that we need to continue to find opportunities to put women in positions of power, that we need to continue to see them start their own independent ventures. I think about Miss Renita. She won Businesswoman of the Year, so let's give her a hand clap for everybody who doesn't have a plate. I think it's phenomenal that we're rewarding women for their accomplishments. She started a business that one of my boards was able to see at the beginning when she were able to expand into her expansion. She now has a near $1 million investment right on Southern University's campus coming right up the Harding Boulevard. So I think that is something, when we talk about economic justice, the amount of money we put to oppress women, the amount of money we put to oppress people is the amount of investment that I need to see coupled with that. So for me, I would like to see dollars coupled with a lot of these pleasantries that we have in these conversations. I would like to see dollars associated with the policies that we're passing. I don't want just a Women's Health Day. I want a Women's Health Day with some money and a check attached to it. So that is where I am on it. I would love to see the type of compensation that folds and not jingles. So I think that's where we are, is that we need to see the money. It needs to make sense, and not just sense, it needs to make dollars. So as long as we are supporting these women-owned businesses, and I don't mean just calling them DBE so that we can satisfy our internal complex about saying that we did something well for others, but saying that we want to do, business with women, and it's not a disadvantaged business opportunity, that these women are comparable, that these women do good business, that these women deserve opportunities, and we want their businesses to flourish. So for me, it's about the money. It's about saying that we deserve it, and it's not some selfish complex. It's not something about just being able to feed your family. No, you deserve to thrive. We no longer just need to survive in Louisiana, but we need to thrive. And this is our season to do so. There has never been a time in this country like now. So I want us to take advantage of this opportunity to seize this moment and to really make it culpable, to say that the audacity to have hope is something that I'm ready to live up to, that I'm ready to take that expectation on. And I know every single one of you have that opportunity and see it before you and are ready to seize it with me.
I think that, let me start over. When 10,000 Women Louisiana was started, there were conversations had around the state with different women, and two things concerned them the most, and that was their children and grandchildren leaving the state, and nothing to keep them here, no reason for them to stay, and once they left, they were never coming back. And the other was reproductive health. There are so many policies that are not passed in this building, legislative session after session, that could make a difference in people's lives. And like Myra was talking about and others talked about, raising the minimum wage, having equal pay for women, having paid leave. I had cancer last year, and had it not been for the policy of my employer and being able to have paid leave, I had to have 2 cancer surgeries that would have bankrupted my family, not having a paycheck for nearly a month and a half. And, we have to do better in supporting our women and supporting our families. We have to give them the tools by which they can manage their lives and manage their families. And, it's all about supporting. We have to support each other. That's why we're all here today. And I've worked with so many of you over the last decade, especially, on things like passing the Equal Rights Amendment, passing equal pay legislation in one form or another. This year, it's paid family leave. And year after year, they just laugh at us and shoot it down. Year after year. And we have to make a difference in who we send to this building to represent us. And we have to do better at explaining to people why they need to register to vote, why their vote counts. And, I talk about this with people all the time, personally and professionally. You must register to vote. You must know who you're voting for. You must know what their platform is, how they stand on issues, and hold their feet to the fire once they get here. Write to them, call them. People don't understand the legislative process. And that's one of the things that I have done for many, many years. Legislative advocacy training, trying to teach just the average person how to come up here, how to talk to your legislator, what the process is, how a bill becomes law, how these policies impact your life. You may not think that some little bill will affect you, but it will. And eventually, all the bills will affect you. Every aspect of your life will be affected by what they pass in this body. And come up here, learn the process, find an organization and belong to it. Have them teach you legislative advocacy. Reach out to me. You can Google me. You can find me on Facebook. I'll teach it to you. It's very simple. It's not difficult. It's not as scary as it may sound. I know a lot of you that are here already know that, but for anybody that's out there on the live stream or the news that are listening, I'm ready to teach it to you. You need to learn it. It's very, very important. And we don't teach this to our high school children. We don't teach this to our college students and make them understand just how important it is to know how our legislative process works. We have legislators that don't even understand we have 3 branches of government. If they don't understand it, how do they expect just the average person to understand it? So, we have to do better. We have to do better, and we have to bring somebody along. Back in 1990, we had a Now Baton Rouge T-shirt, and it was a woman climbing up and reaching behind her and pulling up the next woman, and that's what we all have to do. And sorry, I keep getting overwhelmed. I don't mean to, but it's this age, if y'all get my drift. Thank you.
So let me talk about mental health. I think that's important for us. I know we're not talking about maternal health because right now that takes a lot of the time, but mental health of our women. We are the strong ones in the household outside of our husbands and partners and things like that. But as far as who the kids are looking up to, they're looking up to mommy. And I can tell you that the mental health, my mental health needs to be a priority in my children's lives, in my children's teachers' lives. Everybody who interacts with women, that mental health needs to be that priority to them, and just understanding the need to have that self-care and those things that help to ease your day, to help ease those moments whenever things just get overwhelming. And another thing that I feel like that needs to be talked about is breastfeeding, and just spreading that awareness amongst Louisianians, especially our children. I'm not sure about the exact breastfeeding statistics, but I can tell you that my time in the NICU, I didn't see enough moms breastfeeding their babies. And that's the purest form of nutrition that our children can have. And I successfully breastfed and still breastfeeding my 7-month-old 3 preemies, so I know it can happen. So if y'all know any moms out there that are struggling with that, send them my way, the Preemie Mom Coach, because that's a topic that we need to talk about that will help extend the lives of our children, extend the lives of women, because it helps with our stressors, with so many different benefits with us, with losing baby weight. Breast cancer, it helps with so many different things. So just talking about breastfeeding and donor milk, even if you can't breastfeed, there's so many different options out there, and just knowing about those resources and who you can come to just to get connected to it, that's something that we all need to talk about. So that's all.
I'm inspired by you all here today, such empowered women, such great spirit among you. And then when I go back to work this afternoon, I'm going to be with women who don't have the same oomph within them. And it's not there because it wasn't given to them. They weren't raised to have that self-empowerment. So I'm motivated by being with you, but then I'm a little distressed by seeing again what so many women have not received. So I just come back to that whole thing of partnership, lifting up, that every one of us is who we are because people lifted us up. So if we can find that way to reach out to other women, and it may be somebody here, we're not all as vibrant as we might be when we stand up, but we have that capacity to reach out to others. I was inspired by our senators and representatives when they talked about the difficulty of this job, when they talked about the meanness, the rudeness, the disrespect. That's terrible. We have to stay with them. We have to build them up. But we also must go that next step and find those women who don't have the connections that we have and be sure that we help build them up too.
I just have been so inspired by all of you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to come and be here with us today to celebrate women and women's health across the state of Louisiana. I want to just make a few comments before we wrap it up here. We're a little over our time, but I do want to thank all of in addition to thanking all of you for being here, I want to thank our sponsors and our partners. You have on your program, you can see the list of our supporters for this event. Open Health was our gold sponsor, and we thank them for helping to pay for all that lovely food over there and the printing and all the stuff that, everything has a cost to it, right? So these sponsorship help us to pay for those things. LSU Health in New Orleans, Humana, Planned Parenthood, Healthy Blue, the Women's Foundation of South Louisiana, Lake Urgent Care, Hydration and Wellness. Thank you to all of our sponsors. I also want to thank our Louisiana Center for Health Equity Board of Directors and our chairperson, Ms. Diane Hargrove Jupiter, for taking out of her time to come and be here with us and represent our board of directors, coming all the way from New Orleans. I want to thank our planning team, our planning committee, and for the tireless work that they do. Yeah, we meet every week. Every week, there's a team of women that meet to discuss these issues, to plan, to follow the legislation and track the bills that we're, advocating and fighting for, and try to get out information to you all if you're on our list or part of the coalition. We have a coalition of 56 organizations, mostly women's organizations, but different organizations throughout the state of Louisiana, and some that are national, such as our partner that presented this morning, the Nurse Family Partnership, which is national. We have several national organizations that are part of this coalition. We thank you all for your support. It means a lot. And one of the reasons why, and I'm going to just go ahead and claim it, we're going to get this Office on Women's Health, is because of the support that you all have given to come together. When people talk about the importance of collaboration, of partnering, of working together. When we join forces and we work together, there is nothing we can't do. We are unstoppable, but it does take us coming together and working together. I am so proud of the panel that we had. Everybody, I don't want to miss anybody, but this panel has just been phenomenal. I want to just reiterate a lot of things, so forgive me if I don't say everything, but I just want to lift up some of the comments that Ms. Angela Atkins made in the 10,000 women effort that is going forward right now. I want you to support all of these organizations, but right now, women, we need to come together, and we need to be a voice and a force to be reckoned with. There are more of us, more women, just by sheer population, more women that vote. If we can come together around issues, common issues, and someone said it earlier, I think one of the legislators, Senator Barrow maybe said, or Representative Marcel, we don't always agree. There are a lot of things that we don't agree on, but we can still support each other in the ways that we can support each other. And so it doesn't mean that we all agree on everything. Everybody has their own views and own, ideals and ideology, but there are many areas and many issues where as women, we can support women. And I think we have to think outside the box, bigger than our own individual views and ideology, to think about what is good for women as a whole. And so thank you so much for being a part of this. The energy here is just very exciting. This is the 10th year of our celebration of the of Women's Health Day in Louisiana. We do this as it coincides with National Women's Health Week. So this is National Women's Health Week across the country. And in Louisiana, Governor John Bell Edwards has proclaimed today as Women's Health Day. So there's a lot of excitement and enthusiasm and optimism for where our state is heading. And just, the energy has been so really encouraging to me.
How can people get more information?
People can get more information by going to our website at www.lahealthequity.org.